All right, Bears Nation, let's get into it. I didn't do this at the end of the year last year, or at the end of the year this year. I completely forgot. I thought I did, but I was scrolling through TikTok right before TikTok went dark because I was going to save some of my videos and put them all over on YouTube, but I decided not to do that. If I did the year's Bear in review, I was going to put on there, but not my game recaps because I figured I'd just start fresh next year. But anyway, I don't have it, so we're going to do it now, and every time I plan to do it, I forget about it. So let's start with the coaching staff 2024 Chicago Bears year in review. Obviously not the greatest of years. I thought we could have done better. I did predict at the beginning of the season that we'd only win 4 games, but I did feel as if we could possibly get to 8, and we should have, because there's teams that we lost to that we should have beat. Like Washington's a good team, but we should have won that game. Patriots, we should have won that game, and the Cardinals, we should have won that game. There's 8 wins right there. I believe there's one more in there against the Lions and the Vikings that we could have easily won, so I believe we should have had between 8 and 9. But we only got 4, like I said, I kind of predict. I did predict at the beginning of the season to some people, I didn't put on here that I felt that we could win 9 games, but I said that all depends on how we play against the division. I said, but more than likely with a rookie quarterback and Eberflus as coach, we're only going to win 4, which I was right. Now, I'm not going to talk about the coaching staff that we did have because they were horrible. And this review will include the new coaching staff and things going forward. So let's get into it with the offense. Offensively, I'm not going to get into yards for everybody. I'm just going to get into like what I thought of offense. At times looked really good. At other times looked really bad. Caleb at times looked like a superstar. At times he just looked crappy. Now I think Caleb Williams will be a star in this league. Let's start with him. The man threw for 3,541 yards, I believe it was, and 20 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. But he was sacked about 67 times, I believe, which is 10 off the record, 10 or 11 off the record. Some of that's Caleb's fault. It is. Some of that is Caleb's fault for holding the ball too long. But also, we have a crappy offensive line that didn't do their job most of the year. And that's, going forward, that's what we need to focus on is our offensive line. Wide receiver-wise, let's get into that a little bit. Not much to talk about Caleb, but he had a great year. He had a pretty good year as a rookie, 3,541 yards and 20 touchdowns passing. I don't remember what the total yardage was with the rushing, but I know it's over 4,000 if you add in his rushing. And he had a couple touchdowns rushing. But Caleb, yeah, I think he's a future here. I think he's going to be here for a while. I hope so, anyways. But yeah, not an awesome year for Caleb, but not like a bad year. I think it was a good year, just not what we all wanted it to be as Bears fans. Running back wise, when you don't have coaching staff to give you good play calling, it is what it is. Hopefully that'll change going into 2025, but we shall see. Running back wise, I think DeAndre Swift had a pretty decent year. I mean, he didn't have one of his better years, but he had a decent year. He showed he's a good running back, and he's a viable running back for this Bears team. Roschon Johnson didn't get many opportunities other than in the goal line, but he showed he can be a great goal line back. Wide receiving core, Cole Kmet was a disappointment this year, obviously, for a lot of people. That's no fault of his own because they didn't use him. Hopefully that'll be better this year because he is a top 10 tight end in my book. Hopefully they use him a little more. DJ Moore did his thing. Rome Odunze, rookie, not his best year. I think he had around 800 yards receiving, and I think he had 8, 9 touchdowns, something, 6 or 7 touchdowns. I don't remember what it was, but Rome Odunze showed that with the right coaching staff, he's going to be a really good wide receiver in this league, I believe. So, looking forward to see what Rome Odunze could do in the future with the right coaching staff, which I think we have. I will continue to repeat that through this video. DJ Moore did his thing, obviously. Nothing to say much there. Keenan Allen, not his best year, but an okay year for him. But I don't think he's on a 1-year deal. I don't think he's coming back. And if he don't, I'm hoping instead of going in the draft to do it, I'm hoping we just go after and sign T. Higgins. That's my number one choice right now. I wouldn't mind a trade for Cooper Kupp, but yeah. So offensively overall, I don't think it was overly that. I'm not going to say it was an atrocity or horrible. It just wasn't good. The O-line, we need to fix that O-line. Majorly fix that O-line. The O-line is trash. Like, we got a couple, 3 guys we're bringing back. I'm not going to get into all the names, but like Andre Billings. I hope we bring Tevin Jenkins back and he can stay healthy. I mean, there's a couple other guys on there, you know. Darnell Wright, yeah, but there's only maybe like 3 guys tops that I would bring back on that O-line. I'd revamp that O-line majorly. That's what we need to focus on. But as far as the grade for the O-line, I'm just going to give it a C because I don't want to give it an F. O-line needs to be revamped. O-line was horrible this year. 90% of Caleb's problems were because of the O-line. The other 10% was because he just holds on to the ball too long. But he got better towards the middle of the season. I'd say the last 6 or 7 weeks, it was mainly O-line problems. Let's move to the defense. As far as defense goes, defense was great this year. You know, my biggest concern with them is they kind of start really slow in that first, second quarter. But after that, they're starting really slow in that first opening drive, the first couple drives. But after that, they kind of start to pick it up a little bit. Second half, they have been very dominant this year. I think in the second half of games this year, we only had a couple, 3 teams that scored more than a touchdown, and most of it was just field goals. I think the most we let up in the second half this year was Arizona. We had a couple games, but all but about 2 games, we shut teams down. We only allowed them like somewhere between 6 and 7 points in the second half. Defense, I love our defense. TJ Edwards, Montez Sweat, Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards, Jack Sanborn. Obviously, our corners and safeties. Kyler Gordon, the Spider. We call him the Spider. Or Spidey, whatever they call him. He's great. Jaquan Brisker, when he's on the field, is great. Jalen Johnson shut down. Best corner in the league right there, if you ask me. Tyreek Stevenson, he has some work to do, but he'll be good for us down the stretch, down the next few years, hopefully. I'm hoping they can keep Jaquan Brisker healthy this year. He needs to wear that guarding helmet because our defense is way much better when he's on the field, way better. Defensively, I'd like to see him start really fast in the first half and just maintain that through the whole game. I'd like to see him get a little bit more pressure on the quarterback, maybe cause a few more sacks. You know, like I'd like to see an average of 6 to 7, somewhere to 7 to 8 sacks a game. I'd like to see him force more turnovers, maybe average of 3 to 4 turnovers a game. I know that's hard to do, but I'd like to see at least a few more turnovers per game. But on that, defense was great this year. I'm going to give them a B just because down the stretch they did struggle. It looked like they kind of gave up towards the end there, but, you know, Eberflus was a crappy head coach, but he was also good with that defense. And it kind of struggled down the stretch after he got fired. So with them things being talked about, now let's talk about the coaching staff we just hired this offseason so far. Hiring Ben Johnson was priority number 1, which they got it. And we have gotten Dennis Allen as our DC. Great hire there. Deacon Doyle Young, tight ends coach at Denver. See what he can do. He's also the cousin of Mike Ditka. This coaching staff look like they're going to be really good going forward. Looks like we might have the right coaching staff in place with, you know, mainly our OC and our special teams coach. Ben Johnson, head coach. Deacon Doyle, offensive coordinator. And Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator. Looks like we're in the right place. So we shall see. But this is my 2024 Bears Year in Review recap. So hopefully this off season is looking good. I'll do another video down the stretch with that. But so far good with the coaching staff. We shall see with the draft. Need to focus on the O-line. But before I go, guys, I just want to say my heartfelt condolences to the McCaskey family. As yesterday, Mama Bear, Virginia McCaskey, passed away at 102 years old. You'll be gone, but not forgotten, Virginia McCaskey. But Bears Nation, bear down. As always, bear down.